I found this compelling post, which is actually originated on Reddit. I discovered it on X from a post from Ramit Sethi. Okay, I'm a 41-year-old male, live in VHCO, very high cost of living area. Wife and two kids, own my own law firm, roughly 9 million liquid currently in very low risk mutual funds, 4% a year returns, 500,000 401k, 1.7 million equity in home. We owe 1.47 million at 5.5%. Last 15 years was a serious grind. What are my options? Can't retire. Our lifestyle is very expensive, but really don't want the grind anymore, the daily grind anymore. There are things I would like to have, like a second home or large boat, but don't think that's possible at current levels. Current burn rate is about 500,000 a year. This includes mortgage, multiple trips during the year, fancy dinners, etc. Seems like everywhere I turn, people are far above these levels and can enjoy their lives, but I don't feel like I have that option. My business is like a child and constantly needs undivided attention. Thoughts? Okay, so I'm now pulling in the actual Reddit because he had an update with his income, right? Edit update. For those asking, my income varies a lot as the work is contingency. Average personal law firm income is between 1.5 million to 3 million after overhead. Private school 47.5 per kid a year, two children, mortgage 165, taxes are very high, and home insurance is very high. This leaves 250,000 to live off of for the year, which goes very fast if you take 2 vacations a year. I understand I can liquidate my life and move to Alabama, but I would rather not do that. Firm has no real value, so selling it is difficult. I have goodwill and reputation, but no hard firm assets. I'm John Howard, and in this short video, as you can see, I'm actually taking the Reddit post from the 41-year-old male who has a liquid net worth of 9 million and a very high income between 1.5 million and 3 million, and doesn't know what to do. So I'm actually giving you my comments, on it, and I'm giving him an idea, which I think is well, I think it's a pretty good idea, but I guess you're going to have to tell me what you think, right? So obviously, as I mentioned, I saw this. I saw it online actually yesterday, and it's from Reddit. It's just astounding to me that this person, acquired a liquid $9 million net worth by age 41 and is feeling strapped. I mean, if you think about it, especially considering to the fact that only 3.2% of U.S. retirees have $1 million in assets or more. And that only 18% of U.S. adults earn $100,000 or more per year. And this is actually, I've talked about this before, but I actually found these facts according to the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances. Only 3.2% of U.S. retirees have $1 million or more in retirement assets. And then according to a site called YouGov, 18% of U.S. adults earn $100,000 plus annually per year. And that article is from May of 2024. As you can see, what they did was they did an update. So when I first kind of put together my a solution, I didn't really see his income, but he did an update. And he actually had that income. So as you can see, that income is 1.5, to 3 million. And, if you think about it, if this person, assuming regular ages, right? Let's just say they went to law school right after college. Most people graduate college at 22. I mean, some people are 21, but I'd say usually it's 22. So he began practicing law most likely at 24, 25, assuming that, he has, amassed a liquid net worth, and that's after taxes of 9 million. I mean, that's a savings of an average of 562,500 per year, which is just, again, it's just way, way past the top 1%. So, as a high net worth person, and obviously a high income earner, one of the top out there, this person is in the best position of anyone to launch and build an investment portfolio, investment property portfolio. He, really what stands in the way is he's got to have a FICO. So he would have to get, his FICO score, his mortgage FICO score to a level where lenders would lend to him. But, again, his net worth and his income puts him well above the top 1%. So it would be, completely a piece of cake for him, to come up with the down payment, and any of the other expenses associated with, launching some rentals, right? what he could do, and again, he's in this unique position. Even if his credit wasn't that good, I would imagine a lot of lenders, if they would see, his net worth and his earnings, he probably would be able to get whatever he wanted. But considering how high performing of an individual he is, he probably would not have a hard time, with getting his FICO score where it needed to be. So in his position, what I would say in terms of building a real estate portfolio, he could consider launching a premium. I'd say premium Airbnb properties. I don't want to say Airbnb because it's really short-term rentals, right? It's not just Airbnb. And at the end of the day, Airbnb is one site, right? So he could consider premium short-term rentals. Airbnb's got a division called Lux, Airbnb Lux. And also, take note that the big, beautiful bill passed through the House on May 22nd, 2025. And this means that it can be basically very advantageous to own investment property for short and medium-term rentals as it brings back 100% depreciation. It also contains bigger pass-throughs for through deductions and then also a higher level of real estate exemptions. So first, what he would need to do if he's interested in doing this, and what I'd like to say is the hosts and the operators and managers and the investors that are doing well with premium Airbnbs or premium short-term furnished rentals, they're seeing about 20% cash on cash. So that means if they get into new property, they launch that property, and it requires, let's say, $250,000 of capital to launch that property, that premium Airbnb, that premium short-term furnished rental. They're going to see about $5,000 on average per month. So in this situation, so about $5,000 per month. So that $5,000 is not going to do much for him, but in that case, that's actually $5,000 after all the management. He wouldn't have to lift a finger. Everybody would do it. He could hire a group to do all this work for him in terms of identifying and securing and actually managing, that property. So what would he need to do? Well, first, he would need to find, a strong short-term rental market in the U.S. This basically is most likely going to be, a 1 to 5 hour drive from a major metro area. And as long as it's not in an extremely expensive area, he could easily find one of these properties for less than $1 million. Clearly he would have to come in with a down payment, likely to be about 20% or so as the down payment, and that also would serve as he would need to bring in some capital, some liquidity and capital for things like furnishings and amenities. He would need to identify and install these unique amenities, which enable him to charge a premium rate per night. He can also find groups to do this. There's multiple groups out there that would gladly do all this work, and obviously he would pay them for it. Find the market, find the property, find the realtor, get everything closed in escrow, launch all the work, project manage the work for all the construction or any construction that needs to be done, all the upgrades that need to be done, as well as installing all the amenities. And even here now, right? Let's just say the 100% bonus depreciation goes through. This would significantly lower his tax bill, and he would need to. He also then would need to qualify for what's called the STR. I call it the SMTR, short-term rentals or short and medium-term rentals tax loophole, which would enable him to realize the active income offset, which is from the expenses of operating the rental, or in his case, probably the rentals. Most investors that, as I mentioned before, most investors that are doing this, they're the best hosts or the best investors and the best managers and operators. They're doing about a 20% cash on cash return. And again, that's just the cash on cash. That doesn't include the other benefits, which are the tax savings, the appreciation, the mortgage pay down, and then also the fact that he could borrow against the equity in the property to then go and acquire more. This particular person doesn't really need to borrow more because they've got so much money, but he could get this to a point where he's having it completely passive, and he doesn't have to keep working at this law firm if he doesn't want to. In order for him to qualify for the short or medium term rental, he would need to work either 500 hours per year on the business, or spend at least 100 hours on the business with no one else spending more time. Since he's a lawyer, this might be a little bit challenging for him, or maybe not appealing. But 8 hours per month is really obviously not that much. It's a very low bar, and possibly his wife could help him with some of it. And they could just, have their time spent on emails, phone calls, and also doing internet searching related to any shopping or service needs for the properties. So if you do the simple math, I mean, it's really as easy as the fact is he could effectively have about $250,000 liquid. And in that scenario, he could expect to earn about $5,000 per month. And he could be doing that with, let's say, a premium, short-term furnished rental, a premium cutting-edge group that's actually doing that, and they could manage the whole thing. Now, obviously, he's got, a lot of these expenses, but it sounds like he's really sick of the grind, and he could maybe transition, right? So he could start working less, keep doing his law firm, maybe potentially working less, and he could just start to acquire properties. So if he's in a situation where he gets four of them, he could be having, $20,000 of effectively passive income, from four properties, which then costs him $1 million. But somebody in his situation with that level of a net worth and that amount of income, he could get more than four, and he could, start to, live that life of passive income and start to really, figure out his expenses and maybe figure out ways to maybe not spend as much, or at least maybe live in a different area or move to, at least somewhat of a close area that's not as expensive. But in this case, this seems to me like it's a pretty good solution because, he's going to get a lot of tax benefits from both, depreciation, and even if 100% bonus depreciation doesn't through, that's still, it's still going to be a pretty high amount. And again, it's not the whole property, it's certain aspects of the purchase. He'll have to do what's called a cost segregation study to actually figure out exactly what could be depreciated in that first year of purchase. But again, all expenses plus depreciation, it's a lot of money, and he could build a very large empire and save a lot on taxes with that. What do you think? Do you think this is a good solution for this person? I wonder. I bet you. It seems to me like he probably doesn't have real estate, any sort of real estate investments. Maybe he does. I don't know. We'll see. I actually responded to his Reddit, so we'll have to see if he actually responds to it or not. Everybody, I kind of have this term I come up with. I call it the wealth building strategy quinfecta. That's what I kind of call real estate investing and investment properties. I don't really even know if it's a word, but I like it because one investment gets you 5 benefits, as you can see: cash flow, appreciation, mortgage pay down, the ability to borrow against the property, and then of course, your tax savings. So there's, not really that many investments out there where you get 5 benefits from it. I also talk about generating frequent and consistent 4- and 5-figure deposits and achieving a $1 million net worth or more, through owning furnished property rentals. You'll find me saying, want to turn a tax liability into a scalable investment. You can do it with short, medium-term rentals. Anyway, I have something called the SMTR Launch Kit. If you're interested in this, or somebody else that's interested in this, you can potentially forward them this video, but you're going to see links in the description area, and those links will actually take you there. I also have my email address. You can contact me if you'd like. So you can, again, this is a very basic launch kit, and then inside of there, I also offer some very basic email coaching if you'd like. And if you like this video, you can give it a like, consider subscribing to the channel. Right now I do talk, a bit about real estate investing, but I will, cover more topics as time goes on. But I do talk about it because I've got quite a bit of experience with it. I've kind of been, investing in and actually running rentals for literally 2 decades, alongside of other work. I've actually launched and operated 4 different businesses that, went to 7 figures per year and beyond. And this is not real estate businesses. So anyway, thank you very much, and have a great one.